Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and in this episode I thought I'd do something a bit different and I would compare my 996 with the Yaris GR4. So at first glance these things look like they're polar opposites, and why would you even compare them? But if you actually delve a bit deeper, they're actually more similar than you would think. So basically, in Australia at least, these cars are about the same price. They're both around $50,000. They are both 4-seat sports cars. They're both on paper about the same speed, 0 to 100, and they're both something a bit sporty that you could daily drive. So let's delve a bit deeper into the differences and similarities between the two. So as you guys know, I am not a car reviewer, but I'll give you a quick rundown on this car, but there's plenty of reviews out there where you can see in detail. But basically, this is not your normal Yaris. It has the Yaris badge on it, and about the only thing that it shares with the Yaris is the headlights. The whole car is a custom chassis. The roof is actually much shorter than a standard Yaris. At the front, it's about 5 centimeters shorter, I believe. At the back, it's almost 10 centimeters shorter than a regular Yaris. It's definitely not a standard drivetrain. This is a rally homologation special. So basically, they are going to build about 25,000 of these at least to be able to compete in rally, although it seems like they now may not ever actually be able to use this in rally because it won't comply with the rules, but that's something you can find elsewhere. It's powered by a 1.6 litre 3-cylinder turbo engine, and by all accounts it goes pretty well. So in here the similarities continue really, because this is a 6-speed manual, as is the 996. Also, as many of you will know, I am really not a big fan of the 996 interior. It's really not the greatest thing around, and to be honest, there are parts of this that are quite nice. The seats are really nice and comfortable. There's nice bolstering, and there's a few touch points and stuff that are quite nice, but the dash is really not that great. It's very plain and plasticky. Most of the door trims are as well. There's a sort of Alcantara center panel, but it's really not amazing. So dash wise, okay, this is much newer. This is 22 years newer. It's still nothing that special really for the time. Okay, it is dark back here, but let's put the seat back to its normal position. So sitting in the back here, I have long legs and a short torso, and I'm only short. I'm only 5'8", and my head is touching the roof, and my head never touches the roof in anything. So it's very tight back here. Legroom, there's actually quite a bit. It's actually not bad at all, but headroom, yeah, it's not good for anybody except for young kids really. So in that, we are quite similar to the 996. So another interesting thing with this car is it's very lightweight. So it's got aluminium doors, bonnet, even the plastics on the bumper are super thin, front and rear. Strangely, these front guards are steel, which I'm not sure about. Now, the car also has a forged carbon fiber roof, but as you can see, it looks like woven carbon fiber. That's because for some reason, I think people didn't like the look of the forged carbon. So it's got this horrible fake carbon fiber wrap over the top of the real forged carbon roof, which really makes no sense to me at all. All right, and those of you who are not familiar with this car, this is my 1998 Porsche 911 996, I affectionately call Archie. This is obviously a much older car, but as I said, there's so many things that are similar to the Yaris, I thought it was worth a comparison. Obviously in the back is just engine, but under the bonnet there's actually quite a bit of luggage space in here, much deeper than the Yaris. Probably still hold more than the Yaris, but not by a lot. Ooh. Now there is a lot less leg room, and actually there is less headroom in the back seat in this thing. Yes, the Yaris definitely wins on back seat room, but again, it's still not super practical. But this is definitely less so. This is, I haven't sat in the back of this before. It's small. And I've been quite vocal about my dislike for the interior in this old 996. It definitely doesn't feel very snazzy. It's got this sort of cheap, rubbery sort of feeling dash, and in the grey, it's probably hard to see in this dark light, but it's not the prettiest interior in the world. But infotainment wise, it's actually probably similar in the fact that I've retrofitted in this Sony head unit with Apple CarPlay, reverse camera and all that sort of stuff. So it still functions well as a daily driver. It's also got digital climate control that works quite well. So it functions quite well as a daily driver, which is what I use this car for myself. So another thing to actually factor into this whole situation is depreciation. So one of the big reasons why I bought my 996 is because the depreciation curve has, as far as I'm concerned, hit the bottom a few years ago. They've actually been going up lately, but either way, at the end of my ownership, I should be able to sell this car quite easily for the same money it cost me. So it's same money in as money out, which is quite difficult to say about new cars. That said, the Yaris may be something different. It's too new to know, but it is quite a special car. It's reasonably limited with potentially only 25,000 in the world. It's not super rare, but for a car in that price range, it's pretty low numbers, and it is quite expensive for a Yaris. But I think time will tell that I think in a couple of years, I don't think Nathan is going to be out of pocket as much as if he bought a Camry. Or did he buy a Camry? So enough yabbering. I'm going to swap keys with Nathan, and we're both going to take these out for a drive and see what we think of each other's cars. All right, so I've just jumped in with my very first impressions of driving this car. For starters, I'm sitting so high and upright. I'm very lucky that I've got a short torso and long legs, so I actually have some headroom, but not a lot. Yeah, very high, and it feels like a black hole in here. Visibility is horrible. I cannot see anything out of this car. It's a good thing it's got a good reversing camera and nice big mirrors, because yeah, I can't see much at all. The back is a tiny little slot through the rear vision mirror, and the front, because of the mirror and this screen and everything, it's just, there's huge pillars. You just see this little slot here. You have a tiny little field of view. Yeah, it's quite sort of off-putting. Oh, jeez, she's got some. That was the first time I've even put my foot down a little bit. It's definitely got some go. The heads-up display. This is the first car I've driven with a proper heads-up display, and it's so clear and so easy to see all the information down in front of me. And yes, with the GPS telling me whether I'm going quicker than I should be or not. As an indicator of how short I am, I have to stick my head up to see the bottom line of the heads-up display. My normal seating position cuts off the bottom row. That's how short my torso is. And the indicators are on the Japanese side. So comparing it to the 996, the seating position in the 996 is definitely far superior. The visibility, vastly superior. Oh, almost stalled it. Wow. Wow, this thing goes. This thing's fun. Wow. Holy moly, this thing's got some torque down low. That little turbo spools up so quick, and yeah, you really just touch the accelerator and off she goes. Definitely putting a smile on my face, that's for sure. And when I get on it, it actually sounds okay. It doesn't sound as good as the 996. The 996 sounds much better than this. The little 3-cylinder doesn't actually sound too bad. I mean, you know, with what it's working with. Yeah, it's got a bit of a growl when it gets going. Yeah, I definitely don't feel the front end as much. It just, the steering does feel just a bit numb. I'm spoiled coming out of spending so much time in the 911s that where you feel everything. the car does what you want to do, and it doesn't feel like it's delayed. It feels numb, like you sort of can't completely feel that limp. I can already tell from low revs this car will smash the 996. Day-to-day driving, maybe flat out they are similar when you're doing 0 to 100 times, but from low revs and you put your foot into it, this annihilates the 911 on torque. The gear shift, I'm changing back to second. It feels like you can, that is not nice. Basically, when I'm going from third back to second, you can actually go into the gate for reverse, and so I keep missing the gear. I keep going for second, and I'm sort of stuck over too far. I have to bring it back to get it into second. That is definitely not cool. I'm not a fan of that at all. Yeah, this gearbox, I'm actually not a fan. That even getting into first, then it goes over into that gate to reverse. It is quite off-putting. The lockout is not doing what it's supposed to do. All right, let's see how it handles. Oh, I can feel that front end pulling me through the corners. Little beast. Oh, there's plenty of brakes. Jeepers, it pulls. Just that torque is just so nice. It's a lot of fun in the twisties. It is a fun little car. I'm a fan. I am a fan. Wow.
Cool. And smoked him. Okay, so we're going to go from 80, third gear.
Is a bundle of laughs. I had such a good time driving it. It is quite quick, as you probably saw from the roll racing just then. It's definitely a lot quicker in person than it is on paper. At least normally, it's from all reviews I've seen, the 0 to 100 times are about the same. I think that's quite a bit quicker. Nathan, of course, is not new to 911s. He actually has a pretty crazy 996 turbo at home, so he was comfortable enough in this. But
yeah, that was all right. Did well. Yeah. It did well.
You've had this for a couple of weeks. What do you think?
So, look, the more and more I delve into it, the more fun it becomes. So, to me, really, a badge like that, to me, is mostly associated with Camry sitting in the right lane or parking at a shop front. So it was a big decision for me to buy a Toyota. And I'm just really happy with the purchase. Every time I lean on it, it gives more, so I'm just continually leaning more and more on it. And I'm yet to find a point where it's going to throw me into the bushes.
And just out of context, what did you just replace this with? So what did you have before?
So beforehand, I had a modded BMW M135i, and modding is usually my thing. I can't avoid it. There's something wrong with my brain.
If you see, I'll show you his 996 Turbo in another video. It's pretty crazy.
It is.
Having been in his old Beamer that he had, that thing was still plenty quick, and it must have been a big push to actually go to a Yaris. But this is not just any Yaris, and yeah, I think it's a tough decision. I mean, for me, my 50 grand was is definitely better in the 996, but obviously for you,
look, yeah, to be fair, and I really think, and harking back to some of that depreciation point of view as well, the fact that I got this within the first 1,000 was a big clincher for me. So yeah, that helps the cause somewhat in my decision making. Because
you got it for the initial price in Australia, which is exactly. 45,000 bucks.
Yeah, including on-roads.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Which is the new price is going to be
49,950 plus on-roads.
So sort of 52. So there's a big difference there. And obviously I got Archie for less than 50 as well. This was the cheapest 996 in the country, but I've done a bit to it since, and the current value would be at least around the $50,000 mark. So, which is similar to this. Nathan could probably flip this tomorrow easily for $50,000. So,
yeah, there's some silly prices out there on car sales, usually with flogged demos, but hey, I'll take it. This thing, I'll run it around for a good couple of years, see how we go.
So there you go. That at least some food for thought, you guys. I thought there should be a slightly different way to go on the Yaris GR4 front, because there's plenty of reviews out there if you want to see them, but just to see it in comparison to something else that is actually more similar than you would really think. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do all the usual stuff, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. See you guys.
See ya.